Hello, I will be doing a 3D scene diorama in today's Q&A and using Kenny, the person from Twitter that I found is he's just posted yesterday a free Halloween assets, and I just wanted to give it a try and create an isometric scene in Blender to start with, also a game level design. So I've already downloaded these game assets and I will be creating the diorama. So the first, I've created the asset library out of these 3D meshes. And I'm also already recording a tutorial for step-by-step guide for how to create asset library and how can you use these asset library in Blender to create the game levels. For this classroom, I will share step-by-step guide through on the classroom. But right now, I will be creating the 3D scene. So let's start. So we have these assets from Kenny's asset library. I've downloaded these on Graveyard Kit. These are completely licensed free. You can use them however you want. You can simply go download and continue without donating. And once you downloaded it, you will have the zip file, and once you unzip it, you will have this file, and you can have the models in here. So I've already imported these models by dragging and dropping into Blender, and I've added them into my asset library. So whenever I start a new Blender file, I will see all of my assets in the asset library by selecting. Let me add that real quick to my asset library. Kenny Halloween, add asset library, and you will see Kenny Halloween assets here. Okay. Let's say preferences for default Blender file. Now we will have this. Okay, so I will just only use these assets to create the isometric scene, which is actually quite similar to level design. I will put these assets aside on my pure file. I can see what can I use to create the isometric room or level. So as I inspect the assets, there are no ground tile. Let me let me add my video. So I have these assets, and right now I can use AI for creating the isometric room. So I will simply go to Whisk. This is my first try of doing that. I will just drag this into the subject. Let's add a new, yeah, let's add a new project and drag and drop to the subject. And let's go to ChatGPT, and I will also do the same process in ChatGPT. I will drag and drop it into the chat and write, these are my assets to create a Halloween themed isometric level design. Need a prompt. Audience 15 to 29. And now we bring this up in here. Okay, where did it go? Yeah. And now I will also, yeah, here's my Whisk file and here's my chat GPT. And I will just start generating room. And I will uncheck this and generate one more. And I will also select the 16 by 9 and generate again. Okay, we have some direction now. And I will just simply download this one and add it into my PureRef file. This is the PureRef is basically a mood board software. It's completely free and you can download it on PureRef. Get PureRef. So let's get back to Blender. Now we have direction. Let's inspect this direction. We have a layout of the square diorama and it's covered by fences and the cobblestone on the ground in the middle of the scene and graveyard stones, bench, pumpkin head, and the house and the trees. And we all have these items. Let me go to the solid view by pressing Z and let me activate the screencast key so you can see what I'm doing. Here on the left bottom, you can see which keys I'm pressing. Okay, so let me minimize this a bit and focus on the solid view. So, okay. Now I will just start by adding tiles. I'm going to delete all of these. And we don't have tile, so I will just create one tile using a plane. And then let me take this smaller, turn to the right bottom, actually here. somewhere here. Okay. And then I will just add one, let's say, zombie head. I will use this as reference, and also the body parts if I can. Yeah, torso is here, leg left, and I think these are more than enough. I will put them all on top of each other. Yeah, this is our proportion. So I want to make, let's say, this zombie guy fits into this door. So just calculate the area, how much the sizing should be. If we say this house can contain 6 zombies or 9 zombies, and multiply it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say 7. And 7 multiplied by 9 is almost 60. And I will just array this uh, plane. I'm going to search array. And I will just type, let's do the math. This zombie hovers around, or let's make it much easier. I'm just gonna make it smaller like this. So this zombie is just covered by this plane. And I will just count the type. I will type 30 here. And also I will just add another array modifier. And this time we will change the, my camera is blocking there. So let me put this in here. I will just remove the one factor x to 1 and change to y. And let's say -1 and make it 30 as well. Now we have really big area. And I think I can decrease it to 15 or 20. I'm just eyeballing it. It's not really matter on this point, but I'm just adding this plane to start with. By the way, this scene creation is a bit intermediate. So you might be wondering what are these modifier doing and what are these shortcuts and add-ons. Just stick with, this is like the T hour you watching a 3D artist creating the art scene in Blender, and I will prepare a step-by-step guide on for sharing school classroom. So let's add the camera as well so we can preview it. I'm using add-on here, so it's Alt C, new camera from Vio. Just change this camera to orthographic and just align the camera angle right about here. Okay, and preview the render mode. Okay, so let's start adding the assets. I will just start by adding vegetation, which is these pines. I will simply drag and drop on the scene. Just don't worry about lighting and the shadows or anything. I will focus on that after preparing the blockout design. Let's go to the render mode again and add the option B3. And let's check in here. We have two more in here. I will just duplicate it, rotate a bit randomly, and I will just scatter them around the map like so. And I think I'm done with the trees for now. Now I will add the fences. As you can see here. Okay, we have these green fence borders on the asset library. I will just, I think I'm gonna go with this one, drag and drop. But this time I'm not gonna duplicate it. I will just place it in here and use array modifier and increase the number of fences. And then I will add this one to cover up the endpoint. This actually is the same workflow can be used in game engine like Godot, Unity. You can also share these assets position work in your game engine. Now I've added this. I will just decrease one and align it in here. And now we have this fun structure added. And I will just simply modify my ground plane to fit better with fences. Okay. Now let's duplicate this arrayed fences and simply add on the mid of the corner fence. And I will just realign these trees. And then I will also get that corner rotated and connect with the endpoint. Okay. And now I will simply duplicate this part to match with the square again. By the way, I'm going to delete this one and increase the array one more. Okay, that's fine. Now I will also take that here. And this one is here. And now the only part is here. Let me rotate that. Simply, I'm just connecting the edges and decrease the array on the right modifier. 2, duplicate that, connect with corner. Maybe I can increase it to one more for both. Now we have the entrance. Entrance is actually a bit big. Sorry, but I can modify it all the time. So it's just for blocking out. Let's check the camera. Now we have our base layout setup. And now let's at the where the house is going to be. And I think we have something similar to look like a house. I'm gonna add this one. I think it's crypt large. Let's check the crypt small. Yeah, they both works, but I will use this crypt large. This is actually created modular. So I will be adding them one by one. And then I will just rotate it on the z-axis to place it where it should belong. And also, I need to focus on the door and the entrance door and the crypt door. Now, let's check if we have any cobblestone. Yeah, we have, but these are um, not perfectly added, like in the example. How can we add those is, this is road asset. I will just go into edit mode, select one, and control invert it and delete faces. Now we have this cobblestone only. And I will array this like so. And I will increase the number again. Let's array this from here. And then I will duplicate it, the duplicate the array modifier. Okay, now we have a road. And I will just simply, let's check. Yeah, I will just simply uh, change my oops, change my camera to somewhere here so you can see better. I will just apply these modifiers by just simply going to apply, and let's leave it there for now. We will focus on this pattern later on. And now I can add benches, pumpkin heads, grave, and the street lights so on. Let's start by adding pumpkin heads. I'm scattering around the map, and these are a bit small. And I will just increase the sizes. Let's add one to the entrance. This is a bit tight, so we should um, delete this part, and also actually I'm manually editing it, and also I will do the same for the left one. Let's check. Okay, it's much better. And okay, I'm gonna cover this up later, or maybe we can add some edges, like just duplicate one and Alt J by changing its form to triangle to quad. Now we have this pattern for now. And I usually focus on lighting at first, but I didn't do that on this specific scene. So it looks ugly from my perspective. So I'm gonna add lighting right away. So let me change my camera position because we are gonna go to the hierarchy. And I will select everything and add in a new collection by hitting M. And this collection will be, let's say, isometric scene. And I will separate this camera by adding in a new collection, this camera. And now I will add lighting. And lighting will be on a new collection, light. And you can see there is collections, which I can select much easily. And also I have an HDRI light that you can see in my scene. I'm gonna change the mood of the scene light to something more scarier and cozier, spookier. Now I'm using photographer add-on to add my environment lights. So I'm just gonna decrease this 1.3 strength to something like zero point 0.3. Now we start having this spooky look. So the in my camera view there is no sky, but I can always go something like this and show the sky by changing, of course, orthographic to perspective. But right now, let's focus on this. So this scene is actually a night scene, like in our reference. Let's inspect this reference. AI generated us a night scene, and I will just add a moonlight into my scene. How is actually I already have a directional light, a sunlight, and I will just decrease, change its color to you. Now we have a spookier scene, and I will also decrease the lighting, the moon lighting, and now I'm gonna change the direction of this light, something like let's use something like this. I can change it anytime. I'm just doing a quick exploration on lighting. And then I will change the angle of the sun to get much smoother shadows. Okay, so the light is everything. So I'm gonna decrease that uh, backlight to something like 0.15. And now I can start making the scene cozier. I'm going to add another light. I will choose this light on my hierarchy light collection because I'm keeping everything tight and easy to find. So I've added my first point light. I'm going to decrease that and change it to cozy color, which is warmer color. Okay. And I'm going to decrease its power, increase this power and also radius. Okay, we start having this cozy look. So I'm gonna add that light into the house and increase it more because something is going on in this house. Now it's come to the storytelling. So let's start telling these stories of this house. I will also increase the size of this house a bit. Okay, let me find that light and go to render mode. I can also keep increasing. If I decrease the radius, the shadows will be harsh. But I like cozy spooky looking, and that's why I'm increasing its radius. I mean this radius. And now we have something looking a bit much better. As you see, there are some light leaking here. Now that means I'm gonna have to focus on um shadows and the other real-time engine settings. So I'm gonna go to the render tab. On the render tab, there's ray tracing tab, and let's check some of the uh, let's do a little exploration. So there's distance. Oh, my camera is blocking it. Sorry. There is distance under FastGI approximation. If I change the distance, it should probably work, but let me check my camera settings first. So the clip start 0.01 and 1000 is too high. I'm going to decrease it to 100. And this 2.1. And let's get back to the FastGI approximation and change it to AO. No, this is not related to that. And let's check if our plane has thickness. No, we don't. So I'm going to add thickness to our plane. And let's check our light shadow. Yeah. Yeah, light is leaking out of the asset, the meshes. So let me decrease its radius a bit. So these settings should be considered on EV engine. But when you go to cycles, you won't gonna have to deal with these anymore. So it's for EV engine. I'm really wanting to finish this scene up in this QA, so I will keep working fast. So I'm gonna add other assets like benches and graveyards. Let's start with adding the bench. I think we had one. Yeah, there. One bench is here, and one is enough. And then let's add an open coffin because the story behind the scene is important. And let's put our zombie just here. And let's start adding some graveyard stones. Obviously, this is a Christian village. I'm gonna add them organically, so there is no perfect symmetry going on in this town. Let's add this one too. Okay, let's add one gravestone white. I think I already added so many. And I'm gonna change the trees sizing a bit because they are a bit too big. I'm gonna select all and let's hit space, search for randomize transform and open the left bottom tab and change the scaling like so. And let's change the rotation on the z-axis a bit. Okay, now I will do it manually. These trees are actually adding so much life to this scene. I don't want to block the pathway. So this is the a bit of composition time. I'm gonna delete this stone. And now let's see what we have. We have ghosts, like some candles and street lights. So street lights gonna make the scene a bit more cozier. Let's add those lights just near our house, duplicate it on the other side, and add it into the front entrance. Do we have any other? Do we have only one street light? Yeah, we do. So let's focus on this light specifically. This light on the entrance, both sides. We have four lights in the scene, and now I can add vegetation on the ground, like the grass, and also the ground color, of course. I'm gonna add new material, changes color to something spooky and dark. And now it's shaping. So I think so there are some candles I can use on the side of the pathway. One there, maybe one there. Now let's see. I think uh, I should add some rocks as well because we have rocks on the asset. So why shouldn't we? Yeah, somewhere like this. And I think these are important for storytelling. Let's add one, and there is urn here. Let's add one. So I just don't want to make this scene any complicated. Uh, yeah, there are some candles here. I think I should add these candles on the pathway. Let's delete these. Something like this. And an altar. Yeah, altar here. I don't really know how they usually look, but okay, that is enough. So let's focus on here. So I will add some more lighting to these areas. By the way, I kept selected on the hierarchy the light collection, so and everything I created went into here. Just gonna hide these lights and select everything and move into collection. Now it's all tidy. So I'm gonna add point light here. So if I put this point light inside of this mesh, you won't be able to see it, even if I go something crazy. You know, we see it if I go something crazy. So I'm gonna select the inside of this mesh and add a new material and decrease the alpha a bit. So it actually acts like a transparent lighting. And I will add a cozy light here. And I'm gonna increase the radius. Okay. So I will select this other lights and do the same for each by simply hit pressing Ctrl L and object data. Now we have transparent for all. So I'm gonna um, duplicate by Alt D and place it manually on each light, like so. And whenever I change the lights, they all will be affected, as you can see. Okay, so what's next? Let's see. Okay, the grasses on the ground is, and also candle lighting. I'll just decrease it. These are going to act like candle lights. As you can see, if I increase it, all actually got affected. Okay, so lights are a bit too much right now, and maybe a little bit too intense. So I will decrease it, this one. By the way, we haven't saved this file. We should always save it. So Halloween theme. Okay, 9. And I'm gonna check the cycles engine to see how that looks. Okay, it's actually quite lit. So I need to decrease some of these to find balance. Let's check it in Eevee. So Eevee is also looking nice. Okay, let's get to the camera. So Let's see one more time. Okay, to vegetation. I'm gonna use geoscatter add-on for it. I'm just gonna hit the eyedropper on the ground, and I will need a let's see if we have this in the asset list. Do we have a grass? No, we don't. So I'm gonna add a grass. I'm gonna add a plane, rotate it, make it smaller, and then add a subdivision modifier and increase these areas. Now we have a grass, and I'm gonna add a color to that, which is probably something like this. And now I'm gonna scatter that grass all around the plane. So while this grass is selected, I'm gonna go choose this preset and scatter object. Okay, this is too big. That's because I need to apply location and origin to geometry and pivot to bottom. Okay, so this is right now distributing all around the scene, but I wanna keep it much cleaner. So let's start with rotate. Let's close the unchecked random rotation, and actually random rotation is fine, although I'm gonna duplicate this and hide the ground, and I'm gonna take its solidify because it's scattering the grass everywhere. So I'm just gonna separate the ground and the grass mesh. So let's modify this grass mesh by, okay, let's apply the arrays, and then I will just clear the pathway because I don't want any grasses around here, and also the house. If I delete these, you will see we don't have these in the pathway anymore. We just had some around here. I'm just gonna select this part, and also the top part. Okay, and I think that's fine for now. Let's decrease the number of grasses. I hope I don't break my PC. Okay. Uh, it's actually slows down my computer. That's because we have a modifier on it and it calculates each time. So I'm gonna apply this and let's see it again. And let's change the lighting, the coloring a bit. And of course, this is too much. Okay, let's say that It's enough for now. I will just select the plane and scale that down a bit. And also let's clear this area so it doesn't show in the coffin. Okay. And we can also decrease its size. Probably it can be much easier here. Just enable the shrink and something like this. Or if you want to grow that up, you can use the grow tab. Okay, now we are almost out of time, so I'm just gonna leave these uh, grass blades for now. You can also add animation by going wind tab, waves and turbulence, and if you go animate, you'll start seeing this and what this might be. Oh, these guys are animated, of course. Okay, they kept going there. Just delete them for now. You can see the wind is blowing. It's a bit harsh, I know. You can change the turbulence settings by waves and turbulence settings here. Okay. Now let's just do a little composition by selecting the camera. Enable the depth of field. Just use the eyedropper on your house. And let's decrease the depth of field. And let's drop a background, which I generally do by adding a big plane like this. And I just add a light just on top of the plane. This is my source. This is my sign for creating final touch. I'm gonna sport this spooky uh, colors by adding something maybe Halloween themed background. And I've noticed that our right now the background is there and telling me, hey, your scene is quite uh, dark. So I'm just gonna increase the HDR highlight a bit. And also I might change the sun right now. Find some spooky look. I think that's fine here. I can increase that by a bit and check for other color options. But I'm gonna stick with the moonlight and I think I think that's it. The cobblestone road is looking uh, bad, of course, and I'm just gonna want to change this. Let me see if I have anything that I can use in my library. Yeah, I have one. Let's just add this into the collection now and hide that collection. And let's add better stone that way. And clean up the part that's coming out of. Okay, so let's check. So it's of course much better. Uh, I think I'm gonna drop them on the ground. So I'm gonna choose these lights and also this one and keep transform. I will do same for this candle. Okay. One thing I would like to change is the candles are too intense. First, let's decrease them a bit. And then these lights actually creates a weird green looking, and I don't like it. I'm just gonna select all of these lantern lights and take them out of the bit light. It's just on below the mesh, and I will delete this material and take it back to where it was. And let's make make it a bit smaller. And now, yeah, also, of course, we are gonna fake this interior light like it's uh lit. So I'm gonna add this color map, sign it, and broke the link. And let's increase the emission to strength 3. Okay. Now it feels like it's actually lit. And one, but last, actually, this is going to last light. It says plain light to light up the entrance of the crypt. We can add any color you want. I'm gonna add purple because we have too much green. Okay, I think we can save and hit render now. And we have the rendering and the scene. Let's check the scene a bit in fly mode. So we've created this scene in almost 40 minutes by using Kenny's free assets, and thanks to Kenny, shout out to Kenny. And we can create better versions of this scene, of course, but this is what we have now. And thank you for joining the Q&A, this week's Q&A, and I will be sharing the replay. And have a nice weekend.